Africa is the continent with the highest population growth in the world. It is expected that more than half of the people will live in cities by 2030. This poses a serious challenge to food security. Sub-Saharan Africa relies mainly on domestic food production. Over 90% of the agricultural production is accounted for by small-scale farmers. Pressure on the land increases. Due to climate change, farmers struggle with an increasingly erratic rainfall. Farmers have little means to maintain soil productivity, causing poorer yields every year. They are caught in a poverty trap. There is a clear need for more sustainable farming practices. One of the options to improve soil health and productivity is conservation agriculture, in short, CA. CA was first developed in the United States in reaction to the dust bowls that devastated wide areas of the Midwest during the 1930s. In Brazil, CA developed into a management system that follows three basic principles. These principles are minimal soil disturbance, permanent soil cover, and crop rotation or association. This system is widely adopted by farmers of different scales all over the world. In spite of its promise, success with adopting CA on farms in Africa has been limited. Now, how can CA make part of a solution for small-scale farmers in Africa?
You know, we say a human being is resistant to any change.
In Laikipia, Christine and Charles do not agree on the value of CA.
It's an experiment we are doing.
We are doing a competition. I want to convert her. I want to convert her. So we have to sit down, do this one in your own way. Let me do this one in my own CA way. But obviously I'll defeat her. I'll defeat her. Yeah.
Me or read? You come and see.
One of the principles is to minimize soil disturbance. This way you maintain the soil structure and you avoid water and wind erosion. Not ploughing means that less man and animal power is needed to prepare the soil. However, farmers need access to CA-adapted tools, like this direct planter. Stanley Muriyuki is specialized in service provision for CA farmers, both with his animals and his knowledge of CA.
In conservation agriculture, I have the sprayer to spray the herbicide. I have reaper, I have subsoiler, and also I have 2 planters, direct planters. And also even doing scooping the water pans, yeah, with my animals.
In Laikipia, farmers were introduced to CA in 2005. Farmers were trained, and those with draft animals and an entrepreneurial mind were supported to extend their business with CA-adapted services. And with success. As the market for CA services is growing, Muriuki learned that animal draft has its limits.
What I would like to improve is the power system. We need a machine. That is a tractor, and that is the vision we have with my brother. Because now we need to capture more farmers, because now some farmers are left unattended.
The brothers are convinced that CA provides a great opportunity for farmers and for entrepreneurs.
It's an agri-business, yeah? Agriculture as a business. So that is where we look on. Instead of thinking of a big boutique in Nairobi, yeah, you think this is your good office, which is to be able to sustain your family. Yeah.
Henry Mwiti and Muriuki, these entrepreneurs who have taken very well the concept of service provision. And they're not only training farmers or providing service to neighbors, but they're also making money out of it. It's a business, and that's the sustainability aspect of it. Since they're making money, they should be able to keep doing it for longer, much longer than any of the projects that come.
To stop ploughing also creates the problem of excessive weed growth. A way to manage this is with herbicides, if a farmer can afford it. If not, weeding is done manually. In many African agricultural systems, the man ploughs the soil and the woman takes care of the weeds. In Laikipia, many farms are managed by women without a man. For them, practicing CA actually creates time for other activities. Another principle of CA is to keep a permanent soil cover. This can be a cover crop or a layer of mulch from crop residues. When there is enough mulch, it reduces evaporation and enhances infiltration of rain. It also minimizes water runoff. Moreover, it improves soil fertility. In extreme dry years, farmers in Laikipia who decided to avoid ploughing and to add mulch were able to hold moisture in their soil. That resulted in a harvest, while others lost all their produce. Mulch can make a difference, but only if there is material available. Where there is livestock, there is a need for fodder, and crop residues are high on the menu, especially when it is dry. In Burkina Faso, almost everybody is involved with livestock. The Fulani, semi-nomadic people, travel with their herds in search of water and fodder during the long dry season. A growing need for land and natural resources results in conflicts between the pastoralists and the crop farmers. As land becomes scarce, crop farmers use shorter fallow periods. They can only afford small amounts of mineral fertilizers. This is causing a gradual decline in the fertility of their soils. The agricultural land is becoming less and less productive.
Et donc, il faut réfléchir à des modes alternatifs pour améliorer la fertilité des sols. Et l'agriculture de conservation constitue une alternative possible. Et donc c'est pour ça qu'on l'expérimente actuellement ici.
On-station research is combined with experiments at farmer level to test where and how CA works. In Yilu, farmer innovators and farmer field schools have been testing CA for several years now. Haruna is enthusiastic.
Mam handa ando to yang mam zinga handa ya moderninga. Da ya jipel zala moto fas. Donc mam menga da patom pam in seret yang menga bene. La tum kanga wa inti ton tum do mo ha ton pam anta seret yibu tabo.
To comply with the principle of maintaining a permanent soil cover, farmers struggle to find material to keep a layer of mulch on their plots.
Azula hen to bebe. Ya piase zingo. Bise bene hampa sensibilisation soma. Ne ba wukuda ankaya. Bon, room se me mo badom. Bon, la room so patron la wukuda mo. Ya bela yella. Donc ton sit ton pa ton les
After harvesting, all plots are open for grazing. Traditionally, people have been taking residues to feed their animals or to use as fuel.
La question qu'on se pose, c'est qu'est-ce qui est faisable dans ce contexte? Quel niveau de biomasse peut être maintenu? Et quel impact de ces différents niveaux de biomasse sur les propriétés du système de culture? Est-ce qu'on arrive à maintenir des propriétés avec un niveau peut-être plus faible que si on avait des espaces clôturés?
Meanwhile, farmers find their own solutions to keep the residues on their fields.
La menga kenga de men to tan likeren gatti. Bon, la be fo me henna ning wo bum ning henna ba pa toy man bum me sanya we ya hede me pasi hede.
In Cumbia, there is much more livestock than in Yilu. Both crop farmers and pastoralists have recently started experimenting with CA. Brishui supports the idea of CA. However, he continuously has to choose between feeding the soil or feeding his cows.
En ce moment, chez nous, c'est un peu difficile. Parce qu'il y a assez de champs. Toutes les places sont cultivées. Moi, je vois que si on n'est pas changé le comportement comme on a aujourd'hui là, on pense qu'on est sur les animaux, l'élevage. Mais je vois que le pâturage perd. Si le pâturage perd, moi je vois normalement ça va perdre totalement. C'est quelque chose qui diminue tous les jours, ça va finir. Ça va finir. En 1950, les populations étaient 5 millions. Aujourd'hui, ils ont à peu près 17 millions. Bon. Si ça roulait comme ça, qu'est-ce que ça va venir? Ça va finir.
Moi, j'imagine que dans 10 ans, on va avoir des zones encore plus densément peuplées à Cumbia. Donc, il va falloir réellement intensifier parce que dans les faits, les systèmes restent encore plutôt extensifs. Donc, il va falloir augmenter les niveaux de productivité.
CA can support sustainable intensification of the agricultural systems. This requires a behavioral change in both the pastoralists and the crop farmers.
L'agriculture de conservation au Burkina Faso, elle ne pourra marcher qu'en impliquant les différents types d'acteurs. Donc ce n'est pas quelque chose qui se raisonne uniquement au niveau de la parcelle, mais à différents niveaux d'échelle. Ce n'est qu'avec cette réflexion à tous les niveaux d'échelle et avec tous les acteurs qu'à mon avis, on pourra adapter les principes de l'agriculture de conservation aux réalités du Burkina.
We have seen in Burkina Faso of some farmers who have managed to double their sorghum yields not by inputs, external inputs, by simply slicing their sorghum stalks, allowing them to lie in the field as cover, and only by doing that they have managed to double their sorghum yields. So CA is assisting increasing yields, but also is creating awareness amongst farmers to question their actions. What do they do? Why should they do this operation and why shouldn't they do? We think it's a healthy situation of farmers getting to reason more on their actions to farming.
In the northern zone of Tanzania, the pastoralists are facing multiple conflicts with an increasing number of crop farmers. Life as a pastoralist has become so hard nowadays that most of them see only two ways out. They either seek off-farm employment or go into crop farming. Thomas chooses for farming. He inherited a totally degraded plot of 2 acres. He started reclaiming the land, constructing contours and planting trees. In 2005, he learned about CA.
Kabla ya CA, tulikuwa tunapanda maharage, mahindi, mbaazi na lablab. Lakini kwa mbalimbali, yani tunapanda kwa mchanganyiko. Sikuwa napata ya kutosha ya kuuza, ila nilikuwa najikimu tu kwa ajili ya chakula cha watoto. Na mara nyingine isinitoshe, itabidi nitumie mbinu nyingine kwenda kufanya vibarua ambayo sasa hivi sifanyi. Kwa sasa hivi, baada ya CA, sasa hivi kwenye CA tunapanda mahindi, na mbaazi, ngwara, lablab pamoja na mahindi kwa mpangilio.
Lablab beans and pigeon peas are nitrogen-fixing crops. They keep the soil covered and help fertilize the soil. For Thomas, there is another very interesting aspect to growing cover crops. They protect his plot by law.
Na ndiyo maana tunapendelea sana zao la mbaazi na lablab kwa sababu halikauki moja kwa moja shambani, linaendelea kubaki na itakuwa ni rahisi kumpeleka mtu ofisi ya kijiji ama mahakamani kwa kwenda kulisha chakula chako mifugo, na kesi itapokelewa kwa sababu unalisha chakula mifugo. Lakini kuingiza mifugo kukanyaga haipokelewi. Kwa hiyo tunahesabu mbaazi na lablab kama ni mlinzi wa shambani.
Lablab and pigeon peas are traditional legumes that have a high market value, both locally and internationally. For the adoption of CA, the marketable aspect of the cover crop was very important in Tanzania.
In a number of cases, they were able to get a lot more cash from the cover crop rather than the main crop. it's also the soil fertility enrichment aspects. We realized that farmers, after growing lab, the next crop in the subsequent year produced indeed better.
Thomas's plot is now under full CA. He does not plough, he has a permanent soil cover, and he applies crop rotation. Crop rotation, the third principle of CA, is practically non-existent amongst small-scale farmers. They simply do not have enough land to rotate. Crop association becomes interesting when the associated crops are edible and marketable.
Thomas Loronyo, the farmer in Arusha, does indeed understand the system approach, and he's going all out to maximize opportunities provided by the system.
His maize harvest has increased since he started as a farmer from 3 up to 25 bags of maize per acre. The legumes are stored for consumption and sold when there is a need for money. CA can provide a variety of benefits to the small-scale farmers in Africa. Especially in the driest and most degraded areas, farmers have started to perceive these benefits.
Increased yields is one of the benefits that a lot of people are looking at. There is also the benefit of saved labor. There is also the hidden benefits a number of people take too long to recognize. There is substantial saving in costs by adopting conservation agriculture. But the most important, the most fundamental and overlooked benefit is soil health. By adopting CA, you improve the fertility, the health of our soil, and that sustains the farming system so that it's not only for us, it can be used by future generations without degrading it.
However, sub-Saharan Africa has a high diversity of farmers and local practices. For success, CA needs tailoring to local conditions. No blueprints exist, no dogmas or rigid prescriptions will do. An approach is needed that is based on participation, learning, and capacity building. It needs all stakeholders to be connected. CA is like a puzzle that should be understood before being adapted to finally be adopted. In Kenya, it is time to harvest. Let's go and see who won the competition.
I won it. I won it because my maize is good.
Well, if you can look at the crop, you may think that she has won because she has won, but in fact, I'm the winner. I used less money, and might add a lot of time.
I will do mine.
A ruta continua. We say that, yes, struggle continues until she adapts CA.
Iye, iye, re, 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 na, de.